Welcome in to Colby Sapp's Mystery Shotgun. I am your host, Colby Sapp, along with Pod Racer Tim. Today, we've got to get into a little bit of what's going on with the Deadpool 3 movie, and I've got a couple of ideas what actually might be happening in this movie as I've tried to kind of tweak the ear of a couple of my insider buddies, and needless to say, and also catching a couple of their tweets, I've got a few ideas, and one of them comes from one of my favorite insiders, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But we do have a picture to show you, and get ready, if you haven't seen it, cue your X-Men theme song in your head, and also get ready to cue the nerd squeal, as Tim, go ahead and put that up there. That is Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. And that's what his costume looks like, and kind of updated for Deadpool 3. That is also your Hugh Jackman, Logan, Wolverine, actually in the yellow and blue.
And that's like comic book reference, right?
That is comic book reference. By the way, I have on great authority that the cowl or the mask that also is to go along with this is also in the movie. So if you've seen this picture and you're like, oh my God, does he have the mask? The answer is yes. Yes, he does. So if you're a fan of the Wolverine mask, it will also make appearance in Deadpool 3. Other things that are happening in Deadpool 3, I'm going to get back to this in just a moment. Other thing that's happening, and I put this out on the Facebook, and I believe the Twitter, maybe just the Facebook. But Ben Affleck is going to reprise his role in Deadpool 3. I believe we told you this in a previous episode, as Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Also reprising her role in Daredevil 3 will be that Elektra and or, oh my God, her name left out, Jennifer Garner. Jennifer Garner will reprise her role as Elektra in Deadpool 3. So they're going to make their rounds with it. I wanted to jump back really quickly before I go down this rabbit hole that I was in my car because of all the people that couldn't find what lane they should be in. The Wolverine costume is actually something that even in the comic books and a lot of the X-Men's costumes in the comic books, I couldn't wrap my head around. So I am one of the few that haven't been, just up in arms, clamoring and emailing or mailing my congressman because Hugh Jackman hasn't donned the Wolverine costume. And the main reason is the X-Men, for the most part, in their little section of the Marvel Universe, a lot of the X-Men comics, and if you're aware or not, kind of revolve around the racism or hate aesthetic. Mm-hmm. And the X-Men are not really liked by a lot of people that inhabit their world. They're mutants. They're outsiders. There's a lot of, hate groups that are going after them and such like that. Which, side note to everybody that's can't stand when a comic book movie tries to push a narrative on you because they're trying to teach you or let you in on how they think the world should run. Get prepared for when the X-Men show up, because that's a lot of what happens and underlying messages that happen with the X-Men. So if you hate it, well, it's happening some more. And for those of you that grew up with this stuff and are unfazed by it and actually just watch it and get along with it, we'll continue to enjoy it. So there's that. But I never understood why the X-Men had specific costumes, right? Because you're going into a situation where you might have to fight other mutants or whatever. But to the crowd around you or to the people watching, you show up in these bright costumes. They already don't like you anyway.
Right.
But now you show up and you've basically painted a target on your back, which I didn't understand that. The other thing that I didn't understand was, say, like Storm, who every one of her costumes, get-ups, whatever, they don't have a mask. There's nothing covering her face. Like Jean Grey, there's nothing covering her face. What? Why are you wearing that? What's going on? I mean, is it okay? Because other heroes, other villains, their costumes and everything like that, I understand why. The Flash wears his costume because if he wears anything else while running at that speed, it'll burn off of him. Mm-hmm. So he wears that, and also, he has the mask on to protect his identity. Batman has a hang-up about bats, but a lot of his gadgets and all of that, and also his identity. But he makes sure half of it's, uncovered, so he lets the cops know that he's white. Because sometimes he's at odds with them, and that just wouldn't work out. And Superman, it's from another planet, right? Green Lantern. He's a member of a whole Green Lantern Corps. That's what they wear. Wonder Woman's from Themyscira. Thor's from Asgard. We get it. There's a lot of reasons behind a lot of these costumes. I can't really see one for Wolverine. Because even in the cartoons and the comic books, he's constantly taking his mask off. So he's not like hiding his identity. And plus, the X-Men, when they communicate, like if Cyclops were to fall into a well of anti-mutagen or a volcano or something and it's a cliffhanger, they don't go, "Oh no, Cyclops." They go, "Oh no, Scott."
Yeah.
Everybody knows that Scott, even with the stuff on. So I've never understood it. I really haven't.
Because superheroes wear costumes.
Some of them do. Some of them don't.
Like who doesn't?
So, well, some of your guys from the Watchmen do. Some of them don't. The Question just wears a trench coat. Mm-hmm. Ghost Rider's, his is not really a costume. It's just, it's what he's wearing.
Just what he wears. Yeah.
Wearing his leathers. Crap. There's some that do. Martian Manhunter's not really wearing a costume. He's a Martian. I can't really think of any others. And if you can, tweet at me because my brain's gone dry. Of heroes that wear a costume that really don't need to. Like, because I'm thinking of the situation with the X-Men. Like, there's some X-Men, yes. Like Colossus. Mm-hmm. Colossus is the reason why he looks like that's because his skin turns metal.
Right.
Or Iceman. Well, if you had the ability to control ice and you're about to get into a fight and you would cover yourself in ice too. Mm-hmm. I get that. Magneto, I get it. The metal helmet, you had to find something to match with it to keep Professor X out of your head. And plus you had your stuff made totally out of metal so that, hey, you can fly. I understand that stuff. Some of them I don't. So, and Wolverine's always been one of them. He can heal. It's not protecting him. Mm-hmm. It's not doing anything for him. So why are you wearing it? But at any rate, everybody gets super excited. And I'm going to be fine with it. That was just my small little mini rant on the Wolverine's costume. I never thought it was needed, but it'll be cool to see. Especially if they do the cowl right. Because the Wolverine mask has it's the Batman-esque horns and stuff that go along with it and whatever. That's actually the reason why when he takes that off, his hair looks like it does. Mm-hmm. So that'll be cool to see. And I wonder if it'll work. I wonder if it'll work as good as it does in the comics as it will seeing it in real life. I mean, Deadpool's costume, yeah, he doesn't want everybody around him to think the zombie apocalypse is happening.
Right.
So that I get it. But I wonder if it'll work. And the other thing I'm wondering about Deadpool 3, as I'm wondering out loud in this mystery shotgun, is if there's one thing that was Sony's X-Men series that even if you've paid close attention or just watched them and not really paid attention, you'll notice that there are a lot of continuity issues going through that damn thing. I'm wondering if one of the plot lines involving the TVA and stuff in Deadpool 3
that would be cool
is going to be them pointing them out and being like, well, that's a variant, that's not a variant, that's a this, that's a that, and trying to connect the dots with this, I think that would be super cool. And also, don't be surprised if you start seeing some of the other X-Men characters that you didn't think would show up, like new Jean Grey and old Jean Grey, and just so on and so forth. Because they've had multiple Xaviers, they've had multiple Cyclopses, they've had multiple, but only one Wolverine throughout that whole thing. So that's going to be kind of different to see. I can't wait. Deadpool 3 is turning out to be that next thing that we're going to be talking about for a long time till it comes out because of how big it's getting. This is getting the last Spider-Man big as far as who they're bringing in, what they're doing with it, and I'm super excited for that movie. On a side note, and going away from Marvel and the DCEU for a second, there is another thing that's coming and hitting Paramount Plus that I can't decide if I'm excited or not for it. And it is from some of the people behind Deadpool. And they're delving into one of my favorite, I'm kind of hoping this spawns another video game, all-time favorite video games that stopped production, Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is coming to Paramount Plus as a TV series starring Anthony Mackie, your new Captain America, is going to be the headliner for this, and it's looks to be slight gory, funny.
Kind of like a dark comedy.
Yes. Now, if you don't know what Twisted Metal is, and I'll explain it to you real quick. Twisted Metal was a game that was based on a multiplayer aspect where everybody just jumps in, and it was a tournament. And the tournament was, you had these cars that had specific abilities that could do, like had guns on them and missiles on them. It's Mario Kart turned on its head, basically. And so you had, there was an ice cream car that had a flaming clown head on the top of it. The guy was called Sweet Tooth, and he would just shoot bouncing rockets at you, and just kill your car, just blow it up. Or it turned into a giant clown transformer or whatever. There was a hearse that would throw shadows at you. There was a guy that would throw flaming skulls at you. There's all kinds of stuff, and it was a dark but yet fun game. Well, they're making it into a TV series, and I just saw the latest trailer for it, and I got to see Samoa Joe. He's a wrestler for AEW. He was donning the Sweet Tooth mask with the butcher blades and the flaming clown mask and all of that. It looks questionable and yet fun. It looks real B-movie-esque. It could be really enjoyable, or it could just bury Twisted Metal again. Like, it rises from the ashes only to get squashed again, kind of like Black Widow. So that could be something fun, or it could be something totally disappointing. But I'm tentatively excited for it, and I kind of hope that actually does happen.